Welcome to EAA AirVenture Oshkosh 2008. Paul Plack here with Eric Barger, who is the president of RotaMax Rotary Engines. Eric, we have been following your company for a while now. Since we were here last year, it looks like you've made some progress. I see things on the table here. I see a turbo two-rotor rotary engine mounted on the Sparrowhawk here. Tell us what kind of progress has happened in the last year.
Well, we've been busy since last year. We came last year with this Sparrowhawk with one of our Gen 1 engines, carbureted. And we listened to a lot of folks here that had interest in our engines. And what we did is we went back and we began work on fuel injection on the single and twin engines, and then also turbocharging the twin that you see here. We believe that completes what we want to offer for the aviation market. So we came back with fuel injection ready to deliver, turbo ready to deliver, and start getting some test hours on these different applications that we've installed in the Sparrowhawk here and other aircraft that you see throughout the Oshkosh event this year.
There is another threshold you need to cross, and that is LSA. You need to get ASTM certification or show that you meet the standards if you're going to be using light sport aircraft. Are you anywhere close to that yet, or is this still primarily a product for experimental aircraft?
No, we are close to that. There's a committee meeting tomorrow to identify what the final ruling will be on fuel injection for ASTM qualification. That's important to us so that we know we do our testing under what will be the approved, call it venue, for fuel injection. The folks from float planes and amphibs that are right behind us here with two aircraft today, they've got 5 engines that are coming to them for stand testing and then also to be installed in their aircraft. We're going to get involved with them extensively, and the whole goal and objective of that program is for ASTM qualification. So we're identifying the final components and have some partners that are identified to help with that testing, and we know that's a big step for us as a company, especially into the light sport aircraft, but it also gives validity and time frame just to the amount of run hours, what we can predict in TBO for the whole market. But our real focus has been the light sport market, and we know it's important to have the ASTM qualification to go with that.
Aero-TV is brought to you by
From the mountains to the prairies, to the landings that we love, Garmin SVT, synthetic vision technology.
You have been kind of fighting a couple of different misconceptions. One is that rotaries are complicated and nobody can work on them. One is that they always run hot. Another is that your engine is a clone of a Mazda. Take a few seconds and just break those myths for us.
Well, let me first just start out by saying every day at 11 o'clock we're doing a little forum so that we can cover some of those items that you just talked about. And I start right out in the beginning and say, let's clear up some rotors or some rumors as far as rotary engines go. And what those are is some of the misconceptions about heat, about fuel consumption, about seal wear. And then as you talked about this, actually building an engine or how simple these engines are, we do a 5-minute quick short block build, and we just try to introduce people to the simplicity of the engine and how simple it is internally. And that's important because offering new engine technology into this market, we think the simplicity is a big piece of it, and we want people to really experience that firsthand and see how an engine could go together in such a short period of time with minimal parts.
I think anybody who wants to work on their own engine too in the experimental realm is going to really want to see this, because I think we all dream that we're going to tear our own engines down every winter on the bench at home.
Yeah, and I think that's important also, as like the Mazdas that you mentioned. A lot of people don't work on them, so people think that they're complicated and complex, and it is a very simple engine technology. And once people see that, then whether it's the home builders or whether it's the people that service engines or manufacturers, they're all going to appreciate the simplicity of the engine and the ease on it. And that's why we break one down and get right inside it so people can appreciate that.
We're here at Oshkosh with Eric Barger, president of RotaMax Engines, and we'll be back in a moment.
Aero-TV is brought to you by Cirrus aircraft have always been easy to fly. Now they're easier than ever to buy. A complete line of ownership programs gives you everything you need to purchase, trade, finance, lease, insure, and warranty your Cirrus. There's even an ownership program for non-pilots. The Cirrus Access Pilot can teach you how to fly, or fly the plane for you. Find out more at www.cirrusdesign.com. Cirrus, for the love of flying.
Welcome back. We're here at Oshkosh AirVenture 2008 with Eric Barger, who's the president of RotaMax, and we're talking about rotary engines and Eric's company. Tell us a little bit about the history of the rotary engine and why it's just now getting to this point in the aircraft industry.
Well, a little bit about the history of rotary engines. They've been around for a lot of years now, several decades. Some of speculation would be why they haven't taken off per se. And some of those reasons are machining technologies. Just wasn't time for them back in the early days. They weren't fuel efficient. We believe with today's machining technologies, what we're doing as a company, a lot of things that are happening throughout the world right now as far as it relates to multi-fuels, to emissions, has really opened up an opportunity for a technology like the rotary engine. So we believe not just in aviation, but in several other markets there's opportunity for the RotaMax engine to come in and either be a multi-fuel type engine or a more environmentally friendly engine. So that's why that this technology today makes sense, and that's probably some speculation on our part why it didn't take off early, but there is a lot of opportunity because of events that are happening throughout the world for an engine like this to enter not just aviation but other markets.
When you say other markets, you actually came into this somewhat through the other fuels side of things, because you were looking, if I read the history correctly, for basically an APU for truckers.
That's correct. The company started out actually as thermofan, and we had a patented heating and cooling technology for semi-trucks. I talked about emission regulations happening earlier, and what was happening is that states were mandating that trucks could no longer sit and idle their engines all night. It was wasting a lot of fuel, and it was also polluting the air. And we developed the heating and cooling system to run so that they could shut their truck down and they could have comfort in their cab. A day like today, if you were inside a sleeper cab, it would reach 120 plus degrees. What we found out when we launched that product is that we needed some type of a charging system so they could recharge their batteries. That was when we went on a quest for a small, vibration-free, multi-fuel engine, and that's what led us to the rotary engine. Once we got involved in that development, we started seeing that there was way more opportunities than just the trucking industry. And our early research and development led us to the gas engines, not diesel engines, and we feel that that market is an opportunity that we will be back in where we started from. But our focus now, instead of thermofan, has been 100% on the rotary engines and markets they can fit in now with the size engine we have currently available.
Eric, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Paul.